The hero finds himself flying and meets a genie named Nolan. She says, "You were summoned by mistake. We meant to choose heroes to fight evil, but you were pulled along. I saved you by bringing you to the sky, as the others went to the Holy Cydonia Empire." Shocked, the hero asks to return home, but the genie says, "You can't go back. You have no body to." The hero is shocked when the genie Nolan reveals, "You can't return to your world, you lack a body and are now just a point in the sky." The genie advises him to accept this and start anew, offering blessings and magical abilities in a fantasy world. Though scared of monsters, the genie assures him her blessing will protect him. Named Iruma, he can choose any profession, from wizard to swordsman. Our hero fears monsters, but the genie reassures him of her protective blessing. Named Iruma, he can choose any profession, like wizard or swordsman, or even carpentry. The genie gives him a gem with abilities and sends him to Asgard. Iruma is shocked by his reflection in a lake in another world. The genie has made him handsome and provided food and money. Realizing the genie's blessing, he tests magic, confirming he's in a fantasy world. Iruma heads to a village, finds wood for magic staffs, crafts a spear, and uses his skills to gather items, filling a small bag. Iruma is shocked by his reflection. The genie Nolan made him handsome and provided food and money. He wonders if it's a fantasy world, tries magic, and confirms the genie's words. Iruma heads to a village. He finds wood for magic staffs and crafts a spear. He appraises and collects items in a small bag. Nolan's toolkit stores plants. He sees a girl hiding from a rabbit. Fearful, Iruma cuts off the rabbit's head with his spear. A message says he gained the warrior profession. The girl heads to her village for herbs, and Iruma joins her. Iruma finds wood for magic staffs and crafts a spear. He uses his appraisal skill to gather items with a small bag. He stores plants using a toolkit from Genie Nolan. A girl escaping a rabbit hides. Iruma, scared, kills the rabbit with his spear. He used the toolkit skill that the genie Nolan gave him to store all these plants. Suddenly, he noticed a girl hiding behind him. She had escaped from a wild rabbit. Iruma was trembling with fear and didn't know how he would defeat this monster. But when the rabbit attacked him, Iruma managed to cut off its head with the spear he had just made moments ago. At that moment, a message appeared for Iruma stating that he had gained the warrior profession. The important thing is that this girl was heading to her village in the forest to gather medicinal herbs, so Iruma asked her to take him to the village. The girl was grateful because he saved her, and before they left, Iruma stored the meat of the rabbit he defeated in the toolkit. After that, Iruma went with the girl, whose name is Molly, to the Holy Cydonia Empire, where the heroes were summoned to save the world. There, a woman welcomed them and told them that they were the heroes of this world. She introduced herself as the first empress of the Holy Cydonia Empire, and her name is also Molly. My name is Elizabeth, and suddenly I activated a powerful skill in front of one of the heroes, and through that, I realized that this woman is dangerous and wants to exploit them. Meanwhile, Iruma arrived in the village of Moli and got to know Banga and his wife Martha. This is Bobo, the village's elder. Iruma was welcomed and will stay in this village. Mr. Banga gave Iruma land to build a house. Iruma used magic to create the foundation, but it drained his mana. Iruma settled in the village. He changed his profession to alchemist and blacksmith, using alchemy to turn iron tents into ingots. Molly found him unconscious from overusing magic. Iruma resumed alchemy, collecting iron, copper, and silver ingots, and even making magical iron ingots. Iruma settled in the village. He decided to change his profession to alchemist and blacksmith, using alchemy to turn iron tents into ingots. He overused his skill and lost consciousness. Molly found him in a bad state. Iruma resumed alchemy. Iruma collected iron, copper, and silver ingots. He then practiced blacksmithing with Bobo. The next day, he made healing potions from herbs. You'd be shocked to find that it's a catastrophic situation because the foolish Iruma lost consciousness due to overusing his magical skill. Because of that, Molly's mother scolded him and warned him not to repeat his mistake, while her husband Banga gave him a healing potion. After that, Iruma returned to using his alchemy skill, but this time Molly and her mother kept an eye on him to prevent him from overusing his mana. The important thing is that Iruma collected a lot of iron, copper, and silver ingots, and he even made magical iron ingots. He crafted tools and practiced magic, boosting his alchemy. Iruma blacksmiths with Bobo, creating iron pieces, raising his level. He made potions. In the forest, he ate herbs, gaining resistance and enhancing magic. A boar attacked, terrifying him. With a spider behind, he faced a nightmare. The boar attacked, but the spider blocked it. Iruma, in fear, used alchemy to shatter the beast's skull, saving himself. He treated the spider, and a system message announced a new skill. After that, he went out to the forest and ate some herbs that almost made him die. This was the fastest way to gain resistance and enhance his light magic skill. But at that moment, a wild boar targeted Iruma, and he almost wet his pants from fear because this beast was incredibly strong. Even a spear was useless against it. Iruma found himself in a predicament as the wild boar attacked him with all its might, but all his magical attacks failed. The bigger problem was that there was a venomous spider behind him, turning his disaster into a nightmare. The wild boar attacked fiercely, but the venomous spider intervened and blocked the view of the beast. Iruma started crying from fear as the wild boar didn't back down and wanted to kill him. Iruma decided to take a risk and use his last resort. He jumped into the air and then used his alchemy skill, unleashing a hidden power that shattered the beast's skull. Thus, Iruma managed to save himself by the skin of his teeth. After that, he treated the spider that had saved him moments ago, and suddenly, a message from the system announced that he had gained a skill. And he tamed the spider, which gazed at him with affection and wanted to become his pet, so Iruma couldn't leave it and agreed to tame it. And so he began to hear and understand the spider's words. Thanks to Iruma's power, the spider evolved into a rare breed. Iruma returned, saying he tamed a spider. Iruma brought the boar to thank the villagers, and they held a feast. So he shocked them by saying that he had tamed a spider. It is impossible to tame insects, but our arrogant one did it. Iruma brought the carcass of a wild boar as a thank you to the villagers for their kind treatment of him, and they held a meat feast for all the villagers. Guild and Boarhorn Collection Bank. Whoever sees Iruma, if he sells them in the city, he will make a lot of money. The fairy Nolan is watching Iruma and is happy with the amazing progress he is making at the same time in front of her. Fairy Nolan watches Iruma and is happy with the progress. The amazing things he is doing at the same time in front of this fairy. From this, we learn that Nolan sent Iruma to the past before the heroes were summoned to the Great Sidonian Empire tomorrow. Iruma is surprised to find himself bound by the spider's webs. She is angry with him because he doesn't play with her and is working all the time. Iruma tells her, "I won't work today, I'll play." She was so happy to be with him that she started to jump and hug him. But at that moment, Martha walked in and froze in fear. She thought the spider wanted to eat Iruma, but she forgot about Iruma. The spider's threads sparkled, catching her attention, and she used them to make clothes. Spider silk is luxurious, only affordable by nobles. Iruma is surprised that the village women, including Martha, have forgotten their fear and become fans of the spider, with Martha even communicating with it like a daughter. The women forgot their fear and liked the spider. Martha even began to communicate with the spider as if she were both her daughter and the spider. She took advantage of that to get back at Iruma and wouldn't play with him like she used to. After that, Iruma received a strong Nona armor from the blacksmith Bobon, as he needs these things since he goes into the forest filled with monsters alone every day. A forest full of monsters all by himself. At the same time, Banga advises him to go to the city to develop his skills. And Bobon tells him that next week he will trade in the city, and you will go with him. This means that Iruma is spending his last days in this village. After that, he found Martha on his way, and she had rabbit entrails with her. She tells him that she needs someone who can. He treats these entrails to remove any diseases or parasites, and Iruma asks her, "What kind of person are you looking for?" He uses light magic to cleanse the entrails of all ailments, and it became edible. Martha was shocked by his strength. She tells him that it's better not to show this magic to anyone, as only a few people can use it. Light magic and its user make a lot of money in a short time. Since Iruma is leaving the village, he used earth magic to create a wall to protect the village, and he also used his other skills. And he made a water pump to repay the kind residents of this village. After that, he arrived at the city called Babik and was shocked by the development that had happened in the village. Banga knew about it. He told Iruma that he would go with him to the city, and before Iruma left, he left many healing potions at his home. The villagers were amazed that Iruma made rare potions. They gave him a spider thread cloak designed by children. Iruma thanked them and apologized for leaving. He left for the city with Basi rank adventurers, guards for merchant Babik. Rail wanted monsters. Iruma wanted peace. Rail attacked the spider. Suddenly, they were surrounded by demons. Iruma avoided fighting. Adventurers won easily. 3 days later, they reached the city. Iruma registered at the guild. He registered, got his card, and registered his pet. He hit it hard. Suddenly the merchants stopped as they were surrounded by demons. The adventurers fought. Iruma didn't want to fight, but for the C-rank adventurers, this mission was easy, and they quickly defeated the demons. 3 days later, they arrived at the city, and Iruma went to the Adventurers Guild. He needed to register to stay. He registered, accepted the mission, and got his card. Then, he went to Bebek's company to discuss the healing potion. The merchant offered 10 coins per potion. Iruma was shocked because commissions were much higher than in his real world, meaning he could become wealthy selling potions. The merchant thought the amount was low. Iruma couldn't believe his luck. Iruma registered in the guild. He took a mission and visited Babik's company to discuss selling healing potions. The merchant offered 10 coins per potion. Iruma was shocked as commissions were higher than in his world, hinting at potential wealth. Iruma suspected deception. Iruma, new to the city, lacked savings for a house. Surprisingly, Iruma got a large mansion for making potions for Babik. Iruma was shocked by the offer. He suspected the merchant. Iruma got a mansion for making potions. He started to suspect the merchant. Importantly, the merchant suggested living in a house with a workshop to continue producing. Iruma said he just arrived and lacked savings to buy a house. The merchant said their company owned rentals and sent a servant to show Iruma his new home. Surprisingly, Iruma got a mansion for making magical potions for Babik. Iruma still suspected deception, thinking the mansion was cheap due to evil spirits. The merchant offered a deal next to the mansion, giving Iruma all he needed to produce potions. Iruma still thinks that the merchant is deceiving him and believes that this mansion is cheap because it's haunted by evil spirits. So the merchant gave him a deal next to the mansion, meaning that Iruma has everything he needs to produce a few potions. After Iruma returned, they encountered a foul smell. He explained it was sewage, managed by nobles with magical tools, while commoners suffer. The next day, Iruma moved into his new home and began his project. He bought clay from Babik and used his magical skills, depleting his mana. He succeeded in creating an advanced toilet. He heard a merchant scream. Iruma faced expulsion, but the merchant forgave him. Magical cleaning tools are costly. The next day, Iruma moved into his new home and began his project. He bought clay from Babik and used his magical skills, losing mana and needing potions to heal. He succeeded in creating a toilet. While pleased, he heard a merchant scream. Iruma faced a new disaster. However, the merchant was comfortable and forgave Iruma, asking to use the bathroom. The merchant was amazed by the toilet, which used magic to turn waste into water and fertilizer. Suddenly, Iruma heard the merchant scream. Iruma risked expulsion. Iruma apologized, and the merchant forgave him. Iruma's invention revealed his light magic secret. The merchant agreed, but wanted 100 copies. Iruma decided to hire help to keep his secret. If public, Iruma's magic will be known. Iruma received an urgent mission, or face expulsion. So he began to beg the merchant to keep this secret and not tell anyone about it. The merchant said to him, "Of course I will keep your secret, but you will make me 100 copies of this legendary product." The poor man wants to lose his life to make just one toilet, and this merchant wants him to make 100 copies. So he decides to hire a servant to help him with the work on the condition that he keeps his secrets. He tells that the church that heads the Holy Empire of Cydonia gathers everyone who uses light magic and exploits their magic to gain place and money. If this toilet goes out to my aunt, people will know that Iruma is a user of light magic. This means that Iruma must monopolize this product and make more of it. After Iruma's card is sealed and a message is sent to her, she must complete a mission as soon as possible. Otherwise, she will be expelled from the Adventurers Guild. Misfortunes do not come to our hero Iruma. He went to the merchant's company to hire a servant to handle his tasks until he completes the Adventurers Guild mission. While Iruma was wandering around the company, his eyes fell on a beautiful girl. Who is this girl, and how will she change Iruma's life from this moment on? Subscribe to the notifications to find out what happens in the next episode.